You are listening to Grammy's Rocket Chair on RLM Radio.
The girl of your dreams has got to be in some bar.
Sorry, boys and girls, but this is X-rated. So if you're under 18...
Get out, goddammit!
Get the point? Good.
And now?
Bend over.
Y'all ready for this?
Get it up. Get it up. I can't wait anymore.
I like to watch.
Whatever you design, I know you like it. Do it.
We do it all night long.
And now, your host, Grammy.
Have you ever had one of those days where you just plain had stutter fingers? Oh, Lord. Oh, I love my job. I love my job. I love my job, especially here on the RLM where you guys don't mind if I do a little bit of stutter stepping and stutter fingering and all that. Oh, that almost sounded naughty, didn't it? Oops. No worries, JJ. I just kind of freaked for a momento there. Not a Mentos as in the breath minch, but a momento, por favor. Un momento, por... See, there you go. I'm being all different languaged and everything. Okay. Hi, Jerry. Long time no see. Well, at least a few weeks. Over here on Facebook, guess what? You know what? You're listening to Grammy's Rocket Chair, in case you haven't figured that out already by the lunatic laughing. Yeah, and it is a Whack-A-Doodle Wednesday, and man, I am whacked. That's just all there is to it. But it's the right day for it. In any case, yeah, over here on Facebook, I see Jerry is over here. I also see the lovely Mary B is here, as well as my cousin Donna. Hey, Donna, how you doing, sweetheart? Thank you, Barman, and the Freedoms Network Barman, for tweeting me over there on Twitter. Oh, man, I lost 3 stalkers. I must have turned that corner just right. Damn, I'm an overachiever. And then what's the first thing that I see when I open up Twitter or click on the tab for Twitter? Harvey and what's his face? Woody Allen. Yeah, talk about double ugh on parade. I think I've had enough of Twitter for one night. Thank you very little. If that's the kind of shit you're going to be showing me, I don't want to see it. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it. Over here on in the corner pocket, over on the Crush and Run chat, I see Ninson Dubois is here, as well as JJ's. Hey, guys, how you doing? I also see the lovely Moose Girl has signed in over here. Booyah! Oh, working on code and listening to JJ's. And then I just had to kind of step in and go, hey, 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 hey. I have no freaking clue what you're typing there, Nansen, but that's okay. Because, you know, you're the one that's, I'm assuming, getting paid for that, not me. Because if people paid me to code shit, well, it would probably take a while for others to try and figure out what the hell it was I put in there, because I do have my own secret code. I make shit up as I go along. That's how I roll. Okay, over here on Freedom's Network, I see Grimmy is over here. Thanks, Grimmy, for sharing that I am live and in person and almost kind of scary. I also see the lovely Estrella is posting like a fiend. See how you are, Estrella. I see that the lovely Mary B's been over here of late, as well as Java, Doctor. It's the doctors in the house. Yeah, I'm going to talk to you about doctors here in a little bit, too. Be afraid. Be very afraid. You know, if somebody says, I have a piece of paper on the wall that says that I know what's best for you, run away. They're a scary monster. Run away. Okay, over here in the RLM chat, which is where you need to be if you want to give me static. And yeah, I'm kind of, yeah, I'm really with it tonight. I see Barman right up top. Hey, Barman, how you doing, honey? I got a water, so I'm good. I don't need anything else because Lord knows if I had something that had some kind of chemicals in it besides what's in the water, I could really be a mess. I'm already a mess. I also see Grimner 9 is here, as opposed to just the regular Grimner, because the regular Grimner just left. And looky there, the lovely Moose Girl is here. Hey, Moosey! Moosey! The lovely Kate is here, and she's getting settled in her new digs. Yay, Miss Kate. Yes, it does take a little bit of getting used to, hon, but once you do get used to it, it's like, oh yeah, I can kick back. I'm kind of liking this shit. I also see Asmo is here, the great Asmodeus, as well as the lovely Beth Z is here. BTC Bob, the first of the Bob twins, is here as well. And looky there, Chalcedony. Got the oh going on. The lovely Circles is here. She sent me a wonderful picture earlier on Skype, and I just thought, oh, that's just too funny. I had to share it on a few other websites. Because I love it. I love it. Got a double dip and a Chloe going on in the chat. And I'm here, yours truly. At least I'm logged in. That doesn't necessarily mean that okay, physically I am. Mentally, that's always up for grabs. IB Don C is here. You know, that's another thing I might touch on later today, that up for grabs shit. Yeah. Hi, Harvey, you perv. And a few others that are pervs right along with old Harvey. Java Doctor 2 is in the house. And looky there, JJ's. Thank you for the awesome tunage, JJ's. But yeah, I had to butt in and screw up your flow. Yeah, I had a whole musical feng shui thing going on, and I had to show up. Oops. But it's my turn. I also see Juana Tacos in the house. You know what, sweetie? That does sound yummy, but I got some beef stew going. Got green beans from the garden in. Okay, I did not grow the cow, but it's got green beans in the garden, from the garden. It's got taters from the garden. It's got tomatoes from the garden. It's got onions from the garden. It's got carrots from the store because carrots didn't do well. What else did I throw in there? Peas. I did not grow those either. They were on sale, frozen peas. But it's very, very good. And it's sitting there warming up in the crock pot as I chat with y'all. So tacos are kind of out for tonight. I also see the lovely Rain is here. Hey, Rain, how you doing, sweetheart? And RLM Fluke, the Vanna White of the RLM channel, don't you know? Rob Works is here. Hey, Rob, where's Bubbler? Tiny bubbles in my wine. Hi, Tip Bob. That's the other half of the Bobsy twins. Everybody's got to have a Bob, 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 Bob. Trust no one. And I saw trust no one said trust no banks. Ah, yes, I agree with that. I also see Phantom. Hi, Phantom. Thank you ever so much for my intro. I really do enjoy that, as you can tell, because I play it all the time. Beetle! Hi, Beetle. How you doing, hon? And Colfax 101 is logged in, but is marked away. Dimma, my other duck friender. Hi, Dimma, or at least duck friender from over in the Crush and Run Corner Pocket place. Frumpy, you know what? I had time today. I just took time today to change. Okay, I didn't change my shirt, but I got on my slippers and my frumpy britches. So I got some belly room going on. I needed to, yeah, because I wore some jeans that they were just fine this morning, but as the day wore on, they got snugger. Why the hell does that shit happen? They were cutting off the blood flow to my brain, don't you know? I also see Jehovah One is here. Hi, Jehovah, as well as Kozu. And you know what? I'm going to a class reunion this weekend, and I may have to go shopping because I can't find my kazoo, and I might have to buy me a Kozu just so I can have sound effects. Just for you, Kozu. I also see the lovely Miri B from Down Under is here. Hey, B. How's your world treating you? And moi. That's another one of those really fun ones to say, moi. And it really freaks out Flasher when I do it, which is part of the reason why I do. I also see Poxified is here. Hi, Poxified, as well as Pon Popon Sauce is in the house. Well, logged in, just away. Slim Jim Flim is here. And to round out the crew, the one, the only, the Teddy. Are you a snuggly Teddy? Or are you a Rough Rider Teddy? Ooh, mental images on that one. Wow, don't know that I needed to share that. Okay, I'm going to go over to my pocket. I do have a few things in my pocket that look, the enormous emotional toll of Trumpism from the Daily Beast. Okay, now you know, headlines grab me by the eyeballs, and wow, it's a lucky thing the eyeballs are in my head so that when that headline, moving along. Let me see what this is all about, because it piqued my interest. It's from the Daily Beast. Under their opinion section, surviving the enormous emotional toll of Trumpism, Trumpelstiltskinism. That's what it, from Joy Ann Reed. Thank you, Joy Ann. Apparently, oh, hi, Joy Ann. There's a picture of you. Every day it's something, or 10 somethings. Can we really live with 3 more years of this, let alone 7? Sweetheart, I survived through Dangleberry. So, I don't know. Yeah. No, Obama, the Messiah. May he live forever. Yeah, that was the whole shittery bullshit that I had to put up with for 8 frickin' years. I think if I can do that, you can put up with Trumpelstiltskin. Okay? I mean, cripes. We all have to look at his Oompa Loompa face. So, really? If I got to look at it, so do you. It's one of those. I am an equal opportunity torturer. Well, at least if I got to see it, then somebody else has got to see it too, because I don't like to be miserable all by myself. Apparently, at a certain point, the distaste becomes exhaustion. Okay, this is going to be a fun one. I can tell it already. Donald Trump's presence in our national life has been alternating, infuriating, embarrassing, revolting, gross, and bizarre. Wow. So really, things at the Red Shed, aka White House, Red Shed because it's Commie Central, but the White House pretty much haven't changed in, say, at least the last 20 years. His nonstop assault on our political norms are testing our capacity to sustain constant outrage without giving up in despair. Oh, honey, join the crowd. I was there for 8 years minimum. That was just with your boy, Dangleberry. And then we had Bush, the old howdy doody of the political arena. Yay. That was another one where you just kind of go, well, somebody's got to do it. And hey, if we're going to have a puppet, it may as well at least be someone that's obvious about it. Ugh. So, I meet victims of Trump fatigue everywhere. So do I. But I saw a lot of people that are still in therapy from Dangleberry fatigue as well. So, what the hey. They stop me in airports and restaurants and on the street and ask how long we'll have to put up with this madness. When will Bob Mueller finally bring him down? Bob Mueller? What the hell? Does he have a magic Trumple gun? It's a magic Trumple wand. That's what it is. He will tap him on the head and he will magically turn into a little Oompa Loompa. Because right now he's just giant size Oompa Loompa. Oh, and how much more can our systems bend before they break? I don't know, sweetie. I became a tree. I swayed with the breezes. There were a few times where I got a little bit uprooted and a couple of branches did a really loud crack. But other than that, I survived. So will you. Don't give him so much power that he makes you crazy. You have control over that, honey. Don't let him in there don't let him run those little toggles and buttons and switches and shit. If you don't want to go crazy, quit giving him the power to do that. I know, what a novel idea. So, when I tell them Trump is likely to clamor on until either the 2018 election slows him down or the 2020 election stops him, or if really? Seriously, honey? Or if Russian interference, non-white voter suppression, and liberal perfectionism succeed again till he turns out in 2024. Really? Wow. This man. I guess it takes all kinds. Russian interference. Honey, that's just priceless. It's just so special that you really believe that. The look on their face is something akin to terror. Yes, he is a homegrown terrorist, much like just about anybody in politician anymore. So, for many Americans, many humans, Trump's presidency can often feel unbearable. Well, then don't get any bears. Sorry, Teddy, if you're a teddy bear. So, try as you might to put him out of your mind, he blunders back into your consciousness. The only reason you allow him in there is because you frickin' pay attention to the little him waving over in the corner going, I'm still here. I'm going to say something totally asinine just because I know it pisses you off. That's why he does it. Duh. He lumbers across your television and cell phone screens in his giant Trump suits, squinting and pouting with his silent, sullen wife, or exhausted-looking cabinet members in tow. Can you imagine trying to follow around after that guy? I'd be freaking exhausted. That would be worse than chasing after a 3-year-old. And trust me, I got a crash course in that because one of the gals that I've been bowling with lately has been bringing her little almost 3-year-old grandson to bowling. And I'm usually exhausted by the time I get home because I can't let a little one, just play all by themselves. I have to go play too. Oh, wow. In any case, one minute he's tearing up international agreements. The next he's tweeting out his inner demons. Okay, well, you know what? So long as he's not pushing any fucking buttons. F-bomb. Besides what's on a keyboard, he really doesn't scare me. Now, that Shitlery thing, that one made me very concerned. Very concerned. Oh, apparently he is also mocking people of color. Have you not looked at him lately, sweetheart? If that is not colorful, I don't know what is. Should we put some polka dots on him? Just to give him a little more color so you will go, oh, hey, he's a person of color. We all are, honey. We all are. Apparently, he's also taunting unstable dictators with stupid nicknames and generally wreaking havoc. Oh, well, apparently I must be doing the same thing because I'm taunting an unstable dictator, or wannabe at least, Trumpelstiltskin, because I call him Trumpelstiltskin. So, The Trumples Show is the reality TV train wreck you can't turn off. Sure you can. Step away from the TV. That's number 1. Yeah, no matter how badly you want to. Yes, you can. Number 2, step away from your computer. Number 3, turn your phone off. Disconnect yourself. Step outside into nature. Mother Nature's pretty freaking awesome, especially when everything else is making you crazy. You go stand out in the middle of the woods. You can scream to your heart's content. How do you know if anybody else is going to hear you unless they all just kind of pop up from behind bushes going, we thought we was the only ones out here doing that shit. Seriously? Turn everything off and step away. No sooner does he ruin one thing, so much for empathic hurricane response being Presidenting 101, then he's on the next one. Stay tuned and find out what our tease to commercial break president means by the calm before the storm. Oh, great. Do we have another one? I saw we've got Hurricane Ophelia. How many frickin' hurricanes are we going to have this year? I have a former sister-in-law named Ophelia, and she pretty much did what hurricanes do. Oops. Even his cabinet seems to be succumbing to Trumple's exhaustion. Well, duh. I just said, chasing a 3-year-old. It is exhausting. Rex Tillerson, his miserable Secretary of State, is said to slouch and grimace in Trump's presence. Well, you know, there's an awful lot of people that slouched and grimaced in Dangleberry's presence as well. And, you know, he had the old Queen of Hearts mentality, off with their heads. Or send them somewhere. Anywhere. Oh, collateral damage. Oops. He fails to return White House phone calls. So, there's a lot of people that if I was at the White House, there's an awful lot of them. There are people that would be calling the White House and I'd say, tell them I ain't home. I wouldn't want to talk to any of them people. And he apparently told associates at the Pentagon that Trump is a fucking moron. You expected anything different from someone that actually wanted to be POTUS? Duh. It's tough to sympathize with Tillerson. Yeah, it is. The oil mogul and Putin pal currently decimating the half-empty State Department. Well, you know, I think he needs to finish decimating it. Let's just get rid of the State Department. And while we're at it, start getting rid of a few other of those departments and bureaus and agencies that all they do is run around and snoop and throw people in jail and, you know, for trumped up shit. Oh, wait, I just said his name again, didn't I? Or, hey, how about this? We've noticed that you have psychotic tendencies, so we're going to lull you into this little plot here where we think you need to be doing something dastardly. Oh, wait, we have connections to supply you with not only the cash, but also the artillery to do whatever this is. And then just when you're getting ready to do something, we're going to step in and save the day. Yeah, let's just flush the whole shooting match, okay? Because they have entirely too much idle time on their hands. They're coming up with all kind of shit to justify their existence. I think they need to get a pink slip. Every one of them. Oh, there I went squirreling again, didn't I? Whew. Apparently, it's not hard to relate to his sense of ennui. Ooh, I love that word. Ennui. Trump's presidency is enervating. Really? Every day is a new game of Russian-aided roulette. Well, okay. You know, is he going to pick a fight with Putin or not? Because, quite frankly, I think Putin could take him. Just my opinion. We careened from hour to hour, wondering if he'll blow up our healthcare system, our access to birth control, our tentative peace with Iran, our European allies, or literally us, via nuclear war with North Korea. Okay, I'm going to go after these one at a time. Okay? Honey, blow up our healthcare system? That was done long ago, sweetie. Right now, it's just a dis-ease management system, and the only people that are winners are the ones that are either selling the insurance or pushing the drugs. So, everyone else is not doing quite so well. Our access to birth control. You don't have a problem with access to birth control, honey. If you want a potifro, then you need to pay for your own protection. Want a really cheap birth control? Cross your frickin' legs. And, by the way, just so you know, there are methods of contraception and there are methods of birth control. They are not necessarily the same thing. They all got thrown under that same umbrella just to be able to ease some of this bullshit in. But let me tell you, contraception are things that are intended to keep you from conceiving. Ergo, contraception, not conceiving. That's what like condoms, IUD, diaphragms, the pill, those lovely little shot thingies that you get that my youngest daughter was doing, and I begged her to please stop. That kind of shit. Those are all methods of contraception. Birth control, however, are things that control the birth, as in the manner and the time. Birth control things are, you have induced labor, which rushes along the birth. You have cesarean section, which is a birth control, which basically cuts mama open and takes baby out at a specified date. And you have abortion, which is a method of having the child be born most of the time not alive, but there is a birth that goes on. It is expelled. Those are birth controls. The others are contraceptions. So don't give me this shit. You want to go potty fro, you want to go bump uglies, you want to do all that other fun shit, you just go right ahead, darling, but don't make me pay for you to play. I don't expect you to pay for me playing. Don't ask me to pay for yours, because I ain't going to do it. Let's see. Our tentative peace with Iran. Well, the reason we have a tentative peace with Iran is because we keep poking them in the eye. We're playing that whole Three Stooges bullshit, but we need to quit that. Our European allies. Really? How many allies do we have in Europe? Or do we just have people over there in Europe that go, we like you, we love you, give us money, we hate you, we wish you would die. Oh, yeah, we're supposed to say we like you, we love you after you gave us money. Sorry, we got that little backwards. Or how about the nuclear war with North Korea? Yeah, let's stay the fuck away from North Korea, okay? Little Kimmy, Somebody's going to put a smackdown on little Kimmy the way it is. Stay the hell away from North Korea. Let's don't be kicking sand. This is like a boulder coming down to squish a grain of sand, is what this is. Quit it. That's just stupid. The hell. Quit having these frickin' pissing contests, boys. Okay, it goes on to say, I recently asked a cross-section of politically active observers to describe the constant barrage of Trumpelstiltskin news and its impact on our psyches. They offered adjectives that descended from bad to worse. Well, the only time I really have any kind of impact on my psyche is when I'm having to deal with these people that are either gloating over Trumples or bemoaning Trumples. Other than that, he really doesn't enter into my field of vision, because it's like, really? Really? Apparently exhausting is what one lifelong Republican said, and they are sick of it. Well, you know what? I'm sick of all of it, so you're all exhausting. Nervous daily is how a GOP strategist who is mostly supportive of Trump's policies, but troubled by his rhetoric, tweets, and divisiveness, and you know what? I think his tweets are actually quite comical myself, but I got a sick and demented sense of humor. A third Republican, younger, white, let's throw that white in there because, all this white privilege shit, although I want to know where the hell that's at, because I apparently didn't get my share. Oh wait, that's right, I'm only partially white, and that's just on parts that don't see the sun. Yeah, pretty much. So this person remains active in the party despite a strong distaste for Trumples, and described himself as saddened because this is the decline of the USA. Well, honey, USA started declining a long time ago. I think it reached its peak shortly after the Revolutionary War. Sorry to burst your bubble. It's exhausting, said one Republican, a millennial woman struggling to reconcile her place in the Trumpian party. It's not a Trumpian party. It's a frickin' party, and I don't want to go. It's a very strong feeling of, oh no, not again. Why can't he calm down and be a decent person just once? 'Cause he's a politician and an arrogant SOB, and he's Trumples. I mean, he expected people to refer to him as the Donald for how long? Ego much? Yeah. Apparently, a Navy veteran recounted a conversation with a fellow tourist from Chicago while traveling in Europe. Oh, we hate hearing his name when we're here. It makes us sick. It's embarrassing and depressing that his idiocy is literally risking my family's life. As opposed to Dangleberry's idiocy. As opposed to Bush's idiocy. As opposed to Clinton's idiocy. Please tell me how his idiocy is any more dangerous than the previous idiots that have occupied that seat. 'Cause I'm really not seeing a difference here. They're all idiots. Either idiots or assholes or a combination of the two, which is the one I'm leaning towards myself. Apparently, Trump's divisive rhetoric is in direct competition with his incompetence. Once again, what makes him so different from the one that was in there? Other than color, because they're both persons of color. It's just one is orange, the other one is chocolate. Then you have the anti-poverty activist from the Midwestern enclave, described herself as alternately angry, on high alert, adrenaline always running, and helpless in the face of Trump's constant attack on vulnerable communities. Is he coming to your community and doing something? Turn the lights off when he shows up. He won't even notice that you're there then. Asked to describe in a single word how Trump makes him feel, one longtime Republican active in the party, included as a donor, offered petrified. Wow, like wood? You just stand there all stiff? Disgust, said one Democrat operative who worked at the 2008 Obama campaign. I'm sure you would have been disgusted, honey, because Dangleberry was your man. Yeah, that's something you'll be putting on your resume in about 10 years, and people will be going, no. An African-American police detective is this guy really seriously from Africa? Because if he's not seriously from Africa, and here's a little tip, in other countries, they don't call him that. I know, it's crazy. It's just in this country that we do that shit. In other countries, they don't call him African British or African German or African Spanish or African Swedish or African Russian or African Japanese or African anything other than if they live in Africa. And then I'll bet you even then they don't call them African Africans. Fucking morons. Okay, as this police detective who happens to have a better natural tan than I do, in a southern state Trump won in November, called the nation's 45th president sick and demented. Finally, someone I can't disagree with, because, well, yeah, I get that, but I think that pretty much goes with politics. That's the only way I can describe him, the robbery homicide officer said of Trump. Why didn't you say robbery homicide officer instead of African American police detective in a southern state Trump won in November? Lots of descriptives in there, don't you think? Apparently, they were offering a view not likely to be popular among his colleagues. He has single-handedly placed this country on a downward slide. No, that was done before, honey. He's just he put wax paper under the cardboard box that were, picture Calvin and Hobbes at the top of a slipper slide. And they put wax paper on the bottom of the cardboard box, and they're getting ready to time machine, because the cardboard box is Calvin's time machine. And you just get that mental image. Now, Dangleberry actually built the slipper slide. Trumples is just going, here, let's put some wax paper underneath that box. They all played their part. They just keep building on each other. It's like Legos, only not. Legos are fun. On the day news emerged that Trumple's administration would end the Dangleberry administration's contraceptive mandate. Oh, that mandate that says that somebody else has to pay for your potty throwing? There, you're number one in my books, hon. A black millennial woman. What? Wait a minute. A police detective is an African American, but in this one, it's a black millennial woman. Active in Democratic politics, said she feels rage. Well, honey, cross your legs. Is that rude of me to say? Tough shit. I don't want to get some. I cross my legs. Keep my pants on. Don't give me this rape shit, because I know how that stuff works. Been there, done that as well. So don't give me that as your frickin' excuse. Keep your frickin' pants on and your legs crossed. And men, while I'm at it, quit telling women that they need to not go in certain areas or not dress a certain way or not laugh at a dirty joke, because y'all are the ones that are dipping your wick in an unwelcoming well. So cut it out. Y'all need to learn that if she says no, that means keep it in your pants. And just because you feel the urge and you didn't even bother asking, you just decided that, yeah, I see her over there. She's looking mighty enticing. And, well, my other head's saying, get me some of that. Yeah, you start listening to your other head like that, I think you need to lose your other head. There, we'll put that shit out there too. Apparently this poor gal thinks that every day is a new and fresh hell. Y'all are giving entirely too much power to him. Do not give him that kind of control over your emotional state. Jeez. People. Do you not realize that you, each and every one of you, myself included, and I am giving myself advice here as well as to the rest of you, because I'm allowing you to make me nuts and I need to stop that. But you gotta stop and realize the only person that can make you crazy, that can piss you off, that can make you lose control of your emotions is you. Sure, someone else might do something totally shitty. They may make you angry as hell. Being angry isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's losing total control or ceding control over to another individual. When you do that, you just pretty much said, I just can't take care of myself. Adulting is hard. This whole thing of being a grown-up, it's not working for me. I'm going to let somebody else be responsible for whenever I have a pissy fit, even if I have to point the finger of blame at them. Come on, people. Grow the fuck up. Yes. Although I'm enjoying this little rant at you, because it's like, God, dandruff, some of it itches. Y'all need to realize, if you want to be treated as an adult, you need to act like one. Yeah, there's certain things go along with that, like controlling yourself and being responsible for yourself. Yeah. Apparently this young lady's colleague, a white woman activist in feminist politics. We have a black millennial woman, a white woman activist, and yet when they're a police detective, they're African American. I'm really getting confused by what is proper PC dialogue here. Y'all are just messing with my wee little brain. Cut it out. Apparently, this feminist added that her feelings include anger as well as sometimes shame. Given that a majority of white women voted for Trumples last November, given the alternative, I think anybody that, actually believed that the whole voting thing matters, when they voted for Trumples, they weren't necessarily voting for Trumples. Sure, they kind of liked someone that would just plain spit it out there and say shit that they were thinking but were afraid to say, which, I talked to an awful lot of people that said that's why they voted for him, because he would just say shit that they were thinking but were afraid to say. And the other reason is because Shitlery scared the bejeebers out of him. That's why he got that nod. Apparently, most Americans agree with these grim assessments. Oh, I think he's just a douche. But, hey, even a douche has purpose at one time or another. Trumple's approval rating fell to a record low of 32% at a new AP poll. Okay, who keeps those records? I want to know. Because I know Dangleberry's numbers were worse than that. Is this a record low for Trumpelstiltskin? Because, yeah. Every low is going to be a record low. Every high is going to be a record high. Why? Because y'all are the media and you're trying to promote your little side of the story, your narrative. I want to see the raw numbers here. Apparently, opinions about Trump will remain deeply polarized by political party, and especially by race. Yeah, if you're in the rat race, then that's one side, and if you're not in the rat race, then that's another side, and there's a lot of sides here. And there's all these frickin' parties that everybody else is having, and why in the hell am I never invited but I get the tab? Pisses me off. Apparently one black progressive. Okay, where did the African American thing go? Did she just decide since I was bitching about it to make it go away? Apparently one black progressive activist said that she careens from feeling enraged to worried for young people of color in this country, like my kid, to fearless and ready to fight. Okay, honey, wow, you're concerned about young people of color. That pretty much covers everybody, because you have some that have a little bit less of the lovely toasty pigmentation going on, but everybody's got a little bit of color in their skin, unless they're albino, and even white is a color, because white is a combination of all colors in the prism. Moving along. There's an awful feeling of flashback to a time when black people could not vote or sit in the front of the bus. Oh, fuck me running. Really? Y'all have no freaking clue how easy you've got it. Can someone please find a massive wambulance for these people? Second and third class citizen feeling. Guess what? We're all treated like that, honey. You can either say, nope, thank you, not going to wear that badge, and go about your daily life, ignoring their edicts from on high, or you can sit there and wear your little victim badge. Apparently, black people have always had a vigilant living. Have always had to be vigilant living in America. Wow. So they haven't had to be vigilant living anywhere else in the world. It's just America, where they have to have that hyphenation going on, that African American thing. That's the only reason they've had to, it's just here. It's something about the dirt here. Trumples took it one step further. Now I feel like I'm constantly living in a state of trauma. Well, you are. And you know what? It's self-inflicted. Bishop William Barber, who's become one of the nation's most prominent voices of opposition to Trumples and his party's ultra-conservative policies. No, they're not ultra-conservative. They're just ultra-control freaky. Kind of like the previous tenants were. It's just a different flavor. Apparently, he said that the people he encounters in the country as he travels across the country are angry, but also inspired to fight back. Well, you know, at least they're feeling somewhat inspired. Look at him as an example. This is what you don't want to grow up to be. This is what you don't want your children to grow up to be. This is what we get when we vote for the choice of the lesser of two evils. People are getting tired. But it's a Fannie Lou Hamer kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired. Well, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired too, and therefore I took back responsibility for myself and decided if I don't want to pay attention to y'all, I don't. And when I'm sick and tired, it's usually because I am ill. And if I'm tired, it's because I've been working. They are tired of people saying a person who lost an election by 3 million votes is called the winner. Oh, let's throw that one in there too, okay? Yeah. They're tired of the attacks on the voting rights. And if voting did any good, they wouldn't let you do it. They're tired of the attacks in health care and the poor and the living wages. Tired of the policies and practices of white supremacy. Fuck you too. And tired of the hypocrisy of politicians who claim they are offended by Trump's style. But when it comes to substance and policy, despite the extremism and racism, they vote with him and have the same agenda. Okay, yeah. I'm going to share this. I'm not done with it, but I'm going to share it because I'm done with it. Thank you, Rob, for the bubbler. But what I got to do here, because y'all are talking about this health care. You really want to talk about health care? Let's talk about some health care, shall we? Yeah, we'll talk about it. As Holios, we are going to have some fun now. We are going to healthcare your sorry ass. Right after I finish sharing this link around, I got 3 places to put it. Hi, TD Sanders. I see you, lovely ladies. I'm on a bit of a rant right now. And, wow. You know, the wine is strong with this one. I think she just needs to just shut the fuck up and pull up her big girl panties. But seeing as how she's, let's go here. I believe Rob Works is the one that shared this over in the RLM chat earlier today. It is johnrappaport.wordpress.com. It's his blog. The Medical Holocaust No One Wants to Expose. Okay, here we go, peeps. Let's take a look at some facts here, shall we? Yes, it is a blog, but he actually uses some real numbers, and he actually has, and it actually kind of goes along with some of the other stuff that if you're willing to look, you will see that he's not telling you anything new. The Medical Holocaust No One Wants to Expose, the Starfield Revelation, Medically Caused Death in America. During my coverage of the Las Vegas shooting, many new readers have come to my site and blog. So I wanted to expose them to a story I've been covering for years now. Verified medical destruction of human life in America. No mainstream news outlet wants to touch this. So buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go. Here's one of the original stories I wrote about this unconscionable ongoing crime. My 2009 interview with Dr. Barbara Starfield, a year and a half before she died, focused on her stunning exposure of medically caused death in America. Starfield was a revered public health expert at the Johns Hopkins School of Public Health. Her July 26, 2000 review, Is U.S. Health Really the Best in the World?, was published in the Journal of American Medical Association. You know, one of those major journals, one of the big ones that a lot of doctors actually do at least peruse, as opposed to some of the other vital reading material that they should be paying attention to. In other words, this is a mainstream report. There was every reason for it to cause a firestorm in the press and in the halls of government. But that's not what happened. After a flurry of press stories, international amnesia set in. If you're looking for evidence that institutionalized American medicine, aka healthcare, doesn't care about killing people, here it is. Medical societies don't care. Most doctors don't care. Medical schools don't care. Public health agencies don't care. Congress doesn't care. Dare I say, doesn't give a flying fuck on a rolling donut. The Department of Justice doesn't care because remember, it's like those names of things that the government has to put out. Anytime you have a name for something, it does exactly the opposite. So the Department of Justice is pretty much a group of unjust people, and they don't care either. The POTUS doesn't care. Drug companies don't care unless it affects their bottom line. Insurance companies don't care. As for major media and medical reports, they intentionally hide this story and its implications every day of every year. So when people with the power to do something about medically caused death, that means death directly related or caused or the result of the medical treatment that you got, yeah. And I'm talking about huge numbers of victims. Know what's going on and ignore it? What do you call it? Depraved indifference? Negligent homicide? Well, I call it murder. Mass murder. Dangleberry and his allies have done everything they can to bring more people into the USA medical system. Changing the nature of that system has never occurred to these politicians. Like much of America, they accept the cliches and slogans about American medicine. It's the best in the world. People are being denied treatment. We must take care of our citizens. Oh, we must keep our slaves functioning. People are being denied treatment and they're living longer. Yeah, sorry, I put that last little bit in it. Well, I'm not sorry, but... So how about this far more accurate slogan? Let's force more Americans to die in the care of doctors. Let's force more Americans to pay a fee, a fine, a tax to, an extortion group called the IRS. Make them pay that because, well, they're not paying those exorbitant extortion fees to the insurance companies that have lobbied us to get this going. And so since they're not paying those guys out the yin-yang for shit coverage, for even worse treatment, we're going to go ahead and fine you. Yeah. The American healthcare system, like clockwork, causes a mind-boggling number of deaths every year. Granted, these numbers are from a while back. Extrapolate it out. I'm sure you can. If you know math. If you've taken Common Core, no you don't. I'm going to have to reteach you. On July 26, 2000, the U.S. medical community received a titanic shock when one of its most respected public health experts, Dr. Barbara Starfield, revealed her findings on healthcare in America. Starfield was associated with the Johns Hopkins School of Public Health. The Starfield study, Is U.S. Health Really the Best in the World?, published in the American Medical Association, came to the following conclusions. Every year in the U.S., there are 12,000 deaths from unnecessary surgeries. Now, there's a little asterisk there. This is up to the year 2000. Now, I'm going to say at least, because you know things haven't gotten better. Well, I guess it depends on which side of the better you're on. But for the general public, for the people residing on this piece of dirt, at least 12,000 deaths from unnecessary surgeries. At least 7,000 deaths from medication errors in hospitals. At least 20,000 deaths from other errors in hospitals. At least 80,000 deaths from infections acquired in hospitals. At least 106,000 deaths from FDA approved, correctly prescribed medicines. The total of medically caused deaths in the U.S. every year is at least 225,000 individuals a year. A year. That's 2.25 million deaths per decade. Is that number starting to get you? Oh, wait, it's still the 225,000 a year. Directly caused by a system that's supposed to make you feel better, supposed to, according to their claims, make you well. This makes the medical system the third leading cause of death in the U.S., behind heart disease and cancer. And oh wait, cancer? That's helped along by chemotherapy. Where do you get chemotherapy? From the medical industry. Notice it is an industry. They are producing patients with their poison. The Starfield study is the most disturbing revelation about modern health care in America ever published in the mainstream. Now, once again, modern healthcare in America, that is government speak. So you got to realize that it's what it's saying is exactly the opposite of what it does, because they don't care about your health other than keeping you coming back for more of Big Pharma's poison. Now, on the heels of Starfield's astonishing findings, media reporting was rather perfunctory, and it soon dwindled. No major newspaper or television network mounted an ongoing medical gate investigation. Neither the U.S. Department of Justice nor federal health agencies undertook prolonged remedial action. All in all, those parties who could have taken effective steps to correct the situation preferred to ignore it. On December 6th and 7th of 2009, I interviewed Dr. Starfield by email. Here are excerpts from that interview. So what has been the level and tenor of the response to your findings since 2000? The American public appears to have been hoodwinked into believing that more interventions lead to better health. And most people that I meet are completely unaware that the U.S. does not have the best health in the world. Yeah, infant mortality rates we're ranked pretty frickin' sorry on that one. And that's not even taking into consideration what's going on at abortion clinics. That's just children that were actually, they wanted them born. In the medical research community, have your medically caused mortality statistics been debated? Or have these figures been accepted, albeit with some degree of shame? Her response is, the findings have been accepted by those who study them. There has been only one detractor, a former medical school dean, who has received a lot of attention for claiming that the U.S. health system is the best there is and we need more of it. Why? Because it's padding his pockets, that's why. Apparently he has a vested interest in medical schools and teaching hospitals. So, have health agencies of the federal government consulted with you on ways to mitigate the devastating effects of the U.S. medical system? And her response is an emphatic no. Since the FDA approves every medical drug given to the American people and certifies it's as safe and effective, how can the agency remain calm about the fact that these medicines are causing 106,000 at least deaths per year? And her response is, even though there will always be adverse events that cannot be anticipated, the fact is that more and more unsafe drugs are being approved for use. Many people attribute that to the fact that the pharmaceutical industry is, for the past 10 years or so, required to pay the FDA for reviews of its new drugs, which puts the FDA into the untenable position of working for the industry it is regulating. That is not an untenable position. The FDA likes it. That is their legal way of being on the take. They just made a law that said that you have to pay us to review it. Apparently, there is a large amount of literature on this. And the pharmaceutical industry has been able to advertise on where? The boob tube, and in newspapers and on radio. So, aren't your 2000 findings a severe indication that the FDA and its standard practices? I would think so. Her response is they are an indictment of the U.S. healthcare industry. Insurance companies, specialty and disease-oriented medical academia, the pharmaceutical and device manufacturing industries, all of which contribute heavily to re-election campaigns of members of Congress. The problem is that we do not have a government that is free of influence of vested interests. Alas, it is a general problem in our society which clearly unbalances democracy. You get what you vote for. When you swallow the lies. Take your medicine with a spoonful of sugar. Yeah, that sugar's good for you. Trust us. Most addictive drug in the world. Poo-ha. Okay, can you offer an opinion about how the FDA can be so mortally wrong about so many drugs? Her response is yes. It cannot divest itself from vested interests. Again, there is a large amount of literature about this, mostly unrecognized by the people because the industry-supported media give it no attention. And the FDA is basically in the pocket. They are the rubber stampers of Big Pharma. They are their yes men, and they are the enforcers of anything that cuts into the profit margin of Big Pharma. So, would it be correct to say that your JAMA study, which was published in 2000, it caused, excuse me, a momentary stir and was thereafter ignored by the medical community and by pharmaceutical companies? Yeah, it was. Her response is, are you sure it was a momentary stir? I still get at least one email a day asking for a reprint 10 years later. The problem is that its message is obscured by those that do not want any change in the USA healthcare system, because the system is self-propagating. Keep it coming, keep it coming. So are you aware of any systemic efforts since your 2000 study was published to remedy the main categories of medically caused deaths in the U.S.? Her response is, no systematic efforts. However, there have been a lot of studies. Most of them indicate higher rates of death than I calculated. Hence, I'm really glad I said at least. So what was your personal reaction when you reached the conclusion that the U.S. medical system was the third leading cause of death in the U.S.? Which, by the way, if it's the third leading cause of death behind heart attack and cancer, that means that it kills more people than guns do. All you gun grabbers, go out there and make those drugs illegal. Make hospitals illegal. Make doctors illegal. They kill more people than guns do. I had previously done studies on international comparisons and knew that there were serious defects or deficits in the U.S. healthcare system, most notably in lack of universal coverage and a very poor primary care infrastructure. So I wasn't surprised. Yeah, by the way, they've also, since her study was done, increased the mandatory vaccines you give to your child. And sudden infant death syndrome is not necessarily because there was something wrong with your child when it was born. It's when you turn your child into a pincushion. So, did the 2000 JAMA study sail through peer review, or was there some opposition to publishing it? Her response was it was rejected by the first journal that I sent it to on the grounds that it would not be interesting to readers because, ho, ho, hum, so boring, all of these deaths, where's the happy ending? So do the 106,000 deaths from medical drugs only involve drugs prescribed to patients in hospitals? Or does this statistic also cover people prescribed drugs who are not inpatients in hospitals? Her response was, I tried to include everything in my estimates. Since the commentary was written, many more dangerous drugs have been added to the marketplace. Hence, once again, at least that many people are killed every year by the health care system. Now, his comments are, this interview with Dr. Starfield reveals that even when an author has unassailable credentials within the medical research establishment, the findings can result in no changes made to the system. Does that give you a little bit of a clue that, trying to work within the system is not going to work if the system is corrupted? Sometimes the system just plain needs to go bye-bye. Many persons and organizations within the medical system contribute to the annual death totals of patients, and media silence and public ignorance are certainly major factors. But the FDA is the assigned gatekeeper when it comes to the safety of medical drugs. And if it's something produced by Mother Nature that is beneficial and you don't have to go through Big Pharma to get it, the FDA is like Gandalf standing there saying, "You shall not pass." Well, the buck stops there. So if those drugs the FDA is certifying as safe are killing, like clockwork, 106,000, at least 106,000 people a year, the agency must be held accountable. The American people must understand that. The agency must be done away with if it is playing biased games and if it is not doing as it says it's supposed to be doing, which it is the Food and Drug Administration. And from what I understand, they're also cracking down on labels of food. Like, you can't list love as an ingredient in food because it can't be quantified. Can't be quantified that all this shit that you're saying is okay for them to pump into us is safe and effective either. Oh, wait. Yeah, they give you more money, don't they? As for the other 119,000 people, minimum, killed every year as a result of hospital treatment, this horror has been laid at the doors of those institutions. Further, to the degree that hospitals are regulated and financed by state and federal governments, the relevant health agencies assume culpability. Assume. It's astounding as well that the U.S. Department of Justice has failed to weigh in on Starfield's findings. If at minimum 225,000 medically caused deaths per year is not a crime by the Department of Justice's standards, then what is? Oh, I know what a crime is. It's that guy that produces raw milk, or doesn't necessarily produce it, but he's trying to sell raw milk to people that specifically request raw milk. He's the criminal. Not these guys. They're too big to fail. To my knowledge, not one person in America has been fired from a job or even censored as a result of these medically caused deaths. Dr. Starfield's findings have been available for 15 years. She's changed the perception of the medical landscape forever. In a half-sane nation, I don't know that I'd say half-sane. I'd say more like 1/100th sane nation. Okay. I take that back. I retract that. In a half-sane nation, she would be accorded the degree of recognition that would, by comparison, make the considerable list of her awards pale. That's in a half-sane nation, but fortunately, we don't live in one of those. And significant and swift action would have been taken to punish the perpetrators of these crimes and reform the system from its foundations. But that, once again, is a half-sane nation, and, well, we haven't seen one of those in centuries. The pharmaceutical giants stand back and carve up the populace into promising markets. They seek new disease labels and new profits from more and more toxic drugs. They do whatever they can, legally or illegally, to influence doctors in their prescribing habits. Many studies which show the drugs are dangerous are buried. FDA panels are filled with doctors who have drug company ties. Legislators are incessantly lobbied and supported by big pharma campaign monies. Nutrition, the cornerstone of good health, is ignored or devalued by most physicians. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the FDA plastered your crack, and it continues to attack nutritional supplements, even though the overall safety record of these nutrients is excellent. Whereas, once again, the medical drugs that the FDA certifies as safe are killing, at minimum, 106,000 Americans per year. That is just Americans, by the way. Those big pharma companies, they are multinational. This is just Americans. Physicians are trained to pay exclusive homage to peer-reviewed, published drug studies. These doctors unfailingly ignore the fact that if medical drugs are killing 1 million Americans per decade, minimum of 1 million Americans per decade, the studies on which these drugs are based must be fraudulent. In other words, the whole literature is suspect, unreliable, and impenetrable. Obviously, their culling the herd is a multifaceted thing. Thank you, John Rappaport, for your blog. It's quite infuriating. Soda tax fizzles in Chicago. Huh, shock. Welcome back, B. Dun, dun, dun. What is this? Images, Gooberzilla? Chicago shootings, May of 2017. Murders 56, victims 317. May of 2016. Murders 68, victims 395. Chicago shootings so far this year, 233. The murders, by the way. So far, victims this year, 1,343. Overachievers, let me tell you. Yeah, how's that gun-free zone working out for you? That's what I'd like to know. And another one, just to get your blood a-boiling. You know, there is so much out there. And one of my coworkers was telling me that his mom has got neuropathy in her feet. Quite painful. And she had one doctor tell her that in order to take care of and to treat her neuropathy, she needed to get off of all of the big pharma drugs. And she needed to start, massages, alternative methods. And today they went to see a specialist, and the specialist said, that doctor is so wrong. You need to take this drug, and you need to take that drug, and you need to take this drug, and you need to take this one for pain, and you need to take this one. And they were pretty much told that nerve damage is nerve damage, and there is no correcting it. I call bullshit. Look it up. Do some research. I am not a doctor. Never claimed to be, never will be. But I am an advocate for your health. Get out there. Do your research. Stop taking the poison. And see what can take care of without doing those drugs. There's probably an awful lot of stuff in Mother Nature that will help you. Buku bunches. Oh, TD, that is such a cute picture of that kitty cat. I needed something cute picture. So, okay, let me see. Bang. I'm going to go back to my pocket. Seeing as how we are talking about Big Pharma, FDA, Douchebag Central. This is from cannabisconnections.tk. Now, this was from 3 months ago. And I'm just going to read the headline and a little bit of it because it is kind of sort of. The FDA just outlawed CBDs and hemp oil extracts by claiming all plant molecules now belong exclusively to Big Pharma. How does that happen? How can Big Pharma own nature and things that are derived from nature? Apparently, hemp oil extracts containing CBDs or cannabinoids, are such a threat to the pharmaceutical industry that the FDA is now invoking totally insane justifications for outlawing them. CBDs are non-psychoactive compounds found naturally in hemp plants. I think they're also found naturally in your brain. They work so well as powerful natural medicine that people everywhere are realizing CBDs work better than pharmaceuticals for treating epilepsy, seizures, neurological disorders, and other serious health conditions, including HIV infections. So the FDA just launched a massive regulatory assault against CBDs by invoking the most insane logic you have ever heard. You ready for this? Number 1, CBDs work so well that drug companies are now investigating them to be approved by the FDA as medicines. They're not technically medicines because they're just natural compounds or components in plants. Number 2, because CBDs are being investigated by drug companies, the FDA has granted CBD status as being investigated as new drug. In the FDA's own language from their website, FDA considers a substance to be authorized for investigation as a new drug if it is the subject of an investigational new drug application, IND, that has gone into effect. So, it considers a substance authorized for investigation as a new drug if they are investigating it as a new drug. Is that kind of a circular logic kind of thing? Even my brain has trouble with that one. Number 3, because CBDs work so well and have been authorized for drug investigation, the FDA is now attempting to regulate them out of existence as dietary supplements. Because they work so well, they're such overachievers, and now that they have been authorized for investigation as a new drug, even though they're not a new drug because they're just a component that naturally occurs in plants and people and just about anything. Okay, maybe not just about anything, but it's a new drug, although it's not a drug, but it's something that you're just now recognizing because you wish to control it and make money off of it. But in any case, they per the FDA's own website, the FDA has concluded that cannabinoidal products are excluded from dietary supplement definition under Section 201 FF3BII of the FD&C Act. Under that provision, if a substance such as cannabinoidal has been authorized for investigation as a new drug for which substantial clinical investigations have been instituted and for which the existence of such investigations has been made public, then products containing such substance are outside the definition of a dietary supplement. So if you go out and you just chew on hemp, you are outside of the definition of a dietary supplement. How does that make it outside the definition of a dietary supplement unless you guys are the ones that actually write these definitions? Are you guys going into Webster's dictionary and rewriting shit? Cut it out. Where's Webster? Smack him. Smack him hard with a dictionary. A real one. Like a collegiate size one. I have one if you need one. Number 4. Now the FDA has begun sending warning letters to CBD makers claiming that they are in violation of FDA regulations because they are selling adulterated products. Adulterated with what exactly? Well, CBDs, of course, because, well, when you are actually working with something that produces CBDs as part of its nature, and you are removing the CBDs from a part of its nature, then you are adulterating the product that, ow, that hurt. The debate over hemp CBD's legal status continues after FDA sent 8 warning letters to manufacturers of CBD dietary supplement and food products earlier this month. I'm thinking a single finger salute with both hands is appropriate in this thing. The warning letters cite impermissible health claims used to market the products, as well as CBD's invalid status as a dietary ingredient due to the presence in 2 drug applications currently under consideration. So, if Big Pharma steps up and says, "We found a new drug," apparently they hired Huey Lewis. They found a new drug, one that works like it should. And, well, it doesn't make any difference that it comes from nature and that we really can't patent it because it's something that occurs in nature. But we're going to call it a drug, and we want to investigate it as a drug. And so, therefore, if we call it a drug, then you will label it a drug, and it will no longer be something that people can just eat because now it's a drug. Druggies. So, they criminalized it, but are people going to tell them to take a flying leap on a rolling donut? I think y'all should. I think you should. We'll just put that there. Once the hospitals start cutting, they don't stop. That is true. And, you know, hospitals just absolutely hate it when they cut the wrong limb off. Then they have to go back and get the other one. Just for good measure. Oops, sorry, took the wrong one off. Guess we better make things right. Let's cut off the other one. Wow, that is why they practice medicine. And unfortunately, when they are practicing, it's on you. They say practice makes perfect. Why is it I always have to pay for your imperfection? That's what I want to know. Assholios. Wow, I have been on a medical rant tonight, haven't I? I've been a bit of a grumble bumble. And it all started because some whiny wanker butt that seemed to think, yes, this is a steaming load of shit, this FDA stuff, by the way. Yes, someone over on Facebook notified me. Which I did see an article earlier today, too, that Facebook is having issues around the world. It's been having issues in my world as well. And so I basically stay on my Facebook work page. And if I need to respond to something, that's... Because anything else, I mean, once in a while it will actually let me, you know, like, click on notifications, but other than that, it's So, yeah, bunch of yacht. Okay, now that I've done that one, let's go back to one more, just because you know you haven't had enough yet. Honest. So, no. These are 32 long-forgotten medical cures that our ancestors used to heal any ailment. I mean, while I'm at it, I may as well be at it, right? So, this is from livelovefruits.com. Number 1, And I scrolled way down, by the way, just to let you know. And the way they know that our ancestors used these is because of grave sites and ancestral, they violated graves. But they found this, like caves and that kind of shit. In any case, number 1, fennel. This is a licorice-flavored plant and is used in a tea or chewed to relieve coughs, sore throats, poor digestion, or compromised immune system. It can also be used as a poultice for eye relief and headaches. Yarrow is used for fever, common cold, hay fever, diarrhea, loss of appetite, menstrual problems, and gastrointestinal discomfort. Some people chew the flesh or the fresh leaves to relieve toothache, and it can be made into a tea or eaten in a salad. Number 3, wormwood. Best used in dry form, it can be made into an infusion or tea. No more than 1 teaspoon, as it is very, very strong. It's great for digestion and has been shown to kill cancer cells. For intestinal concerns like worms or parasites, it is best taken in pill form, which is like the little gelatin caplets that you can get at health food stores. Number 4, safflower. It has been used historically to relieve constipation and respiratory problems. Safflower petals are also believed in Chinese medicine to stimulate blood circulation, reduce phlegm, and heal fractures. Number 5 is chamomile. Now, I think we all, or a lot of us, know what chamomile is. Chamomile tea is wonderful when you can't sleep. The leaves and the flowers are used as a tea to treat intestinal problems and nausea. They're also great for calming the body in times of stress and anxiety. Number 6 is ragwort. No longer taken internally, but the herb is still used as a poultice, ointment, or lotion applied to relieve pain and inflammation, such as rheumatoid arthritis, rheumatism, and sciatica. Number 7 is birch leaves. And the leaves of the birch tree contain lots of vitamin C, which can be used to make medicine for infections of the urinary tract, like those that affect the kidney, bladder, ureters, and urethra. It is also used as a diuretic to increase urine output. Number 8 is bugloss. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. It's a diuretic, a demulcent, and a pectoral. The leaves, especially those grown near the root, can be made into an infusion to relieve fevers, headaches, and nervous complaints, and it helps relieve inflammatory pains. Number 9 is wild radish. And the young leaves can be eaten raw or cooked, and the flowers can be eaten raw and are a nice addition to salads. It's used for skin conditions and stomach disorders. Number 10 is nettle leaf goosefoot. And the leaves are a great source of vitamin A and C, as well as calcium. The seeds are also edible. And it's agreed that leaves are best eaten cooked, and that the raw leaves should only be eaten in small quantities. Number 11, juniper berries, which I absolutely love my juniper essential oil, but let's find out what this is. This contains at least 3 powerful anti-inflammatory agents, and just a few drops added to almond oil can bring relief when rubbed into arthritic joints, which, yes, and almond oil is wonderful for your skin. Juniper berries are also good for the urinary tract, but only 1 to 2 berries are enough per day. Number 12, astragalus. Astragalus. I almost thought it was asparagus, but it ain't asparagus. It's astragalus, whatever that is. It's a potent anti-inflammatory that helps boost the immune system and slows or prevents the growth of tumors. It can be used as a tincture in capsules or tablets or used topically for the skin. And it can be used dry in tea as well. Number 13 is mallow. Used traditionally as an herbal remedy for asthma, bronchitis, coughing, throat infections, and emphysema, can also be used to treat wounds or infections of the mouth, throat, stomach, and intestines. A tea can be made from the leaves or flowers, and it can be used as a salve topically. Free Enslaved, honey, if you're still having breathing issues, you might want to check it, see if you got a health food store around you somewhere that might have some mallow. Just wondering. And mullein, which is number 15, but I'll do number 14 first. That is spruce tips, and they are high in vitamin C, can be harvested in the spring from spruce trees, and will have a bright lime green hue. These can be eaten a few at a time or made into a super concentrated vitamin C tea. Wow. Number 15 is mullein, and it can be used as an infusion in tea. It's used to treat inflammation, coughs, congestion, and general lung afflictions. It is a common weed that is often seen growing outdoors. Well, you know, if it's a weed, it's usually growing outside. It's where weeds tend to like to grow. Duh. Number 16, hops. As a tea, it's used to treat digestive problems and often mixed with herbs or plants such as aloe to soothe the muscles. Can also treat toothaches and sore throats. Cool. Number 17 is aloe, which is a cactus-like plant, and we have one growing at work. With thick leaves, it can be squeezed to extrude a thick sap. This jelly can be used to treat burns, insect bites, and wounds. And also aloe juice is supposed to be very good for intestinal issues as well. I have a friend that, Lugster, does a teaspoon of aloe juice every day. Number 18, aspen. The inner bark is used in a tea to treat fever, coughs, and pains. It contains salicin, which is also found in willow trees and is one of the main ingredients found in aspirin. So, hey, step away from the aspirin and go find you an aspen tree. Aspen. I wonder if that's a cosmic thing. Number 19, beeswax. Can be used as a salve for burns and insect bites like bee stings, and should only be used externally, which, yes, children, some waxes are not for you, like crayons. You're really not supposed to eat them, but I did. Number 20, blackberry. The root, bark, and leaves can be crushed into a tea to treat diarrhea, reduce inflammation, and stimulate the metabolism. As a gargle, it can treat sore throats, mouth ulcers, and inflammation of the gums. Number 21, black raspberry. The roots of this plant can be crushed and used as a tea or boiled and chewed to relieve coughs, diarrhea, and other intestinal distress. Number 22 is chokeberry, and these berries, once pitted and dried and crushed into a tea, can be used to treat coughs, colds, flu, nausea, inflammation, and diarrhea, and as a salve or poultice, it can treat burns and wounds. Number 23 is echinacea, which my mother grows echinacea in her yard. She's always got bazillions of them growing in her yard. Also known as the purple coneflower, it's used to strengthen the immune system as well as fight infections and fever. Can also be used as an antiseptic and is useful in treating the common cold, chronic coughs, and flu. But please do not use too much of it. I have had some people tell me that it does have adverse effects towards your liver if you do too much over too long of a period of time. As with anything, it is a balancing act. A lot of times less is more. Just because it does something with this amount doesn't mean if you quadruple the amount, it's going to do quadruple it. Not always true. Okay, number 24. Feverfew, which can be ingested as a tea, chewed, or taken as a tincture. It's a great fever remedy, hence the name, and is a natural anti-inflammatory, helping with general pain, itching, and joint stiffness. Can also be used as a salve or poultice. Number 25 is goldenrod, which can be used as a tea as well as a topical salve. It helps treat conditions like bronchitis, chest congestion, colds, the flu, inflammation, and sore throats, and can be used as an antiseptic for cuts and abrasions. See, so many of these are multi-purpose, and so many of these deal with the flu. And wow, if you just do this natural stuff, you wouldn't need those flu shots that they're now giving away because they can't even give this shit away. I'm not kidding you. They're giving them away out here. And nobody wants them, even though they're for free, because they don't want the side effect, which is the extra added hidden cost. Number 26, red clover. This beautiful little flower grows everywhere, and the entire plant can be used. Flowers, leaves, roots, and all can be infused as a tea or eaten in salads. And it's used to manage inflammation, improve circulation, and treat respiratory conditions. Number 27 is rose hips. The fruit of wild roses, it's a major source of vitamin C, and it can be used to treat coughs and colds, intestinal distress, as well as inflammation. It's also a great antiseptic, and they have very fine hair-like fibers in the middle, so make sure that they are extremely dried out before using, and then grind them up in a food processor and shake the batch in a sieve to have all the hairs fall loose. It's best made as a tea. Now, you don't want none of them hairs getting stuck. Okay, move along. Number 28, sage. It's a far-reaching shrub across much of North America, and it's a natural insect repellent and can be used for anything digestive related, as well as colds and sore throats. Number 29 is valerian. The root of this can be used as an infusion in a tea to relieve muscle aches, pain, and is said to have a calming effect. Maybe the natural version of Valium. I don't know. I've never taken Valium, so I don't know. Number 30, rosemary, which is a member of the pine family. It can be eaten as a food, as a tea, or in an essential oil, which I love rosemary. I diffuse it a lot of times, as well as cook with it. And it's used to treat inflammatory muscle pain, as well as improve circulation and boost the metabolism. Number 31 is slippery elm, which ground from the bark of the red elm tree. It's best made into a tea, and it can treat a number of digestive issues, such as relieving constipation. It's a great treatment for the gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD, and Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel syndrome, diverticulitis, and diarrhea. And it can even be used to treat breast cancer. Now, have you noticed how many of these things treat digestive issues? If you understand the connection of a healthy gut with the rest of your system, Not only does it need to be healthy so that it can absorb the nutrients of what you are consuming, but it also triggers hormone releases and all kinds of other chemical releases from the other organs in your body. So if your gut ain't happy, you ain't gonna be healthy. So it's probably one of the main reasons why all of these, listed here, or damn near every one of them, has something to do to help with the digestive issues. Because you have to have your digestive tract working properly, your gut flora working well, in order for you to stay healthy. And finally, number 32, chaga. This mushroom that grows on a tree is hardy and one of the highest antioxidant foods out there. It can be boiled into a tea, and it takes about 40 minutes to boil down. It's used for immune system support, like fighting cancer, ulcers, and gastritis. It normalizes blood pressures and cholesterol levels and is a major antiviral and can help improve one's moods. And as always, there are lots of other plants out there, and please do your research. And if you aren't sure, check with someone that is a specialist when it comes to herbs and plants and that kind of fun stuff, because you can get into the wrong stuff and it will not be a happy time for you. So I'm hoping that this one shares properly, because the last time I tried to share it, it did not share right. So, nope. See, it goes to the shocking health benefits of drinking lemon water. But you can scroll down from there and, yeah. It's in there. I mean, there's lots of other really awesome things in there as well, or on that page as well. But this one just isn't sharing. It's sharing the home page article. I don't know why it's not sharing. Actually, let's just try something real quick. Oh, well, y'all have been listening to Grammy's Rocket Chair here on RealLibertyMedia.com, Channel 3. Also on the RLMradio.xyz site, the RLM TuneIn radio station, the RLM Internet radio station, the RLM Spreaker channel. Thank you all for listening in. Once again, as a reminder, I will not be here on Friday. I have a class reunion to go to. And I won't be here Saturday either, because I'm spending time with my mom and doing that class reunion thing. So hopefully y'all find something to entertain yourself. But in the interim, since I have just a little bit of time left, I am going to go to the pig and see what happened this date in history. Let's see if that shared any better. Over here real quick. Come on. Nope, it still did the drinking the lemon water, even on the effing site. So just scroll around the page. You'll find it. It's not hard to find. Okay. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. He had 3 ships that left from Spain. He sailed through sunshine, wind, and rain. He sailed by night, he sailed by day. He used the stars to find his way. A compass also helped him know how to find the way to go. Yes, Columbus, I know. There's always more than just one side to every story. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, this date in history. The 11th of October, 1884, human rights crusader and former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, born in the Big Apple, later achieves a measure of immortality for her disembodied chats with Comrade Shitlery. Yay. This date in history, the 11th of October, 1975. Sovereign individuals from sea to shining sea are beset with an unshakable feeling of impending doom when William Jefferson Clinton marries a Marxist named Shitlery Rottenham. Yay. This date in history, the 11th of October, 1981. For the first time in recorded history, E.T. makes a personal appearance when an extraterrestrial named Prince opens for Rolling Stones in L.A. Yeah, and the rest, as they say, is history. And lastly, this date in history, the 11th of October, 1991, soul-saving, devil-vanquishing televangelist Jimmy Swaggart gets a little too close to the sin he's fighting when he gets caught striking a pay-for-play deal with a hooker. Oh, oh, oh. Naughty, naughty, naughty. I have sinned against you and my God. Oh my God, it's Jimmy Swaggart. Oh well. Thank you all for listening in and putting up with me this evening, and I hope you learned something from some of those wonderful little things that I shared. I will be back next week, Wednesday, for the WHACK-A-DOODLE Wednesday edition of the Rocket Chair. Let me see here. I do have just a little bit of time left, so let me see if I can find something else. Just a quickie. Just to grab a quickie. Let's see. Or maybe I can just read some of these lovely little headlines that I got here. I know. I will read this quote. I did that John Wayne quote thing the other day. And I got to thinking about that quote from McClintock. And this is probably one of my favorite John Wayne ever. This is George Washington McClintock talking to his daughter. Becky, come here. Something I ought to tell you. Guess now's as good a time as any. You're going to have every young buck west of the Missouri around trying to marry you. Mostly because you're a handsome filly, but partly because I own everything in this country from here to there. They'll think that you're going to inherit it. Well, you're not. I'm going to leave most of it to the nation, really. For a park where no lumbermen'll cut down all the trees for houses with leaky roofs. Nobody'll kill all the beavers for hats for dudes, nor murder the buffalo for robes. What I'm going to give you is a 500-cow spread on the upper Green River. Now that may not seem like much, but it's more than what we had, your mother and I. And some folks are going to say I'm doing this all so that I can sit up in the hereafter and look down on a park named after me. Or that I was disappointed in you. Didn't want you to get all that money. But the real reason is, Becky, it's because I love you. And I want you and some young man to have what I had. Because all the gold in the U.S. Treasury and all the harp music in heaven can't equal to what happens between a man and a woman with all that growing together. I can't explain it any better than that. Once again, thank you all for listening in this evening. Have an